Hey, car
Coming
guys
in hot.
and car gals, it's Lou Ramirez, the car guy. And
Frelin Arts Subprime Hero. What's going on, everyone?
we are excited about a Fixed Ops Friday with these incredible solutionaries that are right here. You might be missing one today, but we're still going to have fun anyway. And we cannot wait to get this brew moving in the right direction. And you are catching this live right now. If you're listening to this on the podcast, well, thank you for tuning in. But we are so thankful that you are with us right now live. Do us a favor, car guys and car gals. Tag a car guy.
Tag a car gal.
And
Share.
Woo! I am excited about this Fixed Ops Friday that has been brought to you by our friends at Fixed Ops
Digital. 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 Let's go, my friends. They are killing the game out there, and they're bringing this show to us. It's every Friday, or every other Friday, I should say, right? Fixed Ops Friday. Here we are. I'm Frelin Arts once again, the subprime here. I'm with my brother Lou Ramirez, the car guy, and we have some special guests today. We have Owen Moon. He's here. He's going to be a regular on these shows. Him, Brad, they're going to be going back and forth. They might both be on the show. Brad's at a charity event today. Kudos to him for going out there trying to make some things happen for his community.
Let's go.
Doing some big things, right?
And
making things happen.
The incredible, epic AF.
That's right.
Here, the one, the only
Robin
Wilson.
I'm gonna keep it quiet because we're gonna get loud in a minute.
Happen up in here. We're trying not to scare the dogs, but it is about to go down up inside of the cafe today, and we are pumped up to pump you up. So let's get ready to get this show started. We are so excited to be brewing solutions for you. Just before we were getting everything cooking, we were just getting the smell in the air of all the solutions that those of you that have service departments need to be sipping on.
Oh man,
so do yourself a favor and grab a pen, grab a notepad, grab a whatever, and get ready to get excited because this cup is going to be piping hot with some solutions for you.
It's going to be overfloweth with information. I'm always ready to brew, right? And this information, get your cups ready. Have them empty because it's about to get filled up with some great information for you to take back to your dealerships, take back to your workplaces, take back to your sales staff. And when I say sales staff, yeah, man, Fixed Ops has sales. That's right. We were just talking about that, and it's a big part of the dealership sales. So why aren't we training them to be better salespeople? I don't know. Why aren't we doing that? We could talk about that today too. We could talk about the BDC for a service department. Is your BDC, do you even have a BDC for your service department? What's your follow-up game like in your service department? Do you check out things? We got so many things that we can just throw at you. We're going to talk about today. Man, we got Owen Moon in the casa, and Owen Moon's been doing it for a long time. And Robin, man, has she been supporting this for a very, very long time. She is a solutionary. She is epic AF. She's somebody that I consider a sister, a friend, a mentor. She brings the fire, man, and I'm pumped up, man. I'm pumped up. You can tell.
A little jazzed up,
little caffeinated.
You know what's going on, everybody. But let's go ahead and get this party started because we do have these two solutionaries that are just sitting over here watching these yakaholics yak at.
Simple for us to just yak away.
We are going to open the door for what needs to be a wide open door for more females in Fixed Ops and welcome in the lady onto the stage, the one, the only
Robin Wilson. Man, she's with the SCP agency, one of the founders. I love her for so much. She's amazing. She's a friend of ours. Thank you for being here on the show today.
Welcome.
Wow.
Let's keep this party going. Keep that moving with us. Robin, get that move going because I know
Robin gets down.
Showing. And
that's right.
The incredible Mr. Fixed Ops Digital himself.
What's
the one,
the only Owen Moon.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Hey. Man, that is one incredible individual right there, and he is.
I'm ready, man. I'm excited.
Inside of the cafe, and it is seriously about to get epic.
Man, let's pour some solutions out.
Let's get this rocking, everybody.
Let's do this.
So happy to see you.
So, Robin, welcome to the show. How you doing today?
So good. It's so good. The weather's finally good here in Missouri, and I'm happy.
I totally get that.
Oh.
It is beautiful here today. It's like 80 degrees in Kentucky after a freeze spell we just had. So beautiful day. I'm over here, short sleeves, ready to go out here. I'm actually getting sweaty in my own. I need to turn the AC in this building. I'm telling you, it's beautiful.
The good thing is that this is very, very light.
Yeah, that swag right there that he's wearing.
Right there.
Oh, wow. Look at that one. Hello. Bingo.
All right.
He's over here jealous. I could see Owen down here like, man, where's my
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute.
I didn't for your size. I'll send you one.
He's like, I didn't get the memo. So I didn't either, man.
But he does look like he's ready to jump inside of a service drive. Let me tell you.
There's no doubt about it. You know, we're over here rocking our Fixed Ops hats right now, and we love it. It's classy. It's stylish. I got my Kane Automotive shirt from his last event that I just went to last week. It was amazing. Folks, if you haven't been there before, reach out to Lou and I. We can tell you all about it. We're excited. But today, I'm super excited to have what we're talking about, Fixed Ops Friday. And today, we have some special people in. Robin, she's been doing some amazing things. She doesn't just bring service to your BDC on the sales side. She brings it to your service side. And we're going to talk about that today, how that can help improve your CSI scores there, how it can improve customer retention, and most importantly, how you can sell more product when they're being used and utilized the correct way. Huge, huge, huge. More money. That's what happens there.
So much that can be contributed. And folks, we want to let you understand. Can you see this right here? You see how much grinding there is inside of that? You don't understand how many beans there are that takes to grind out solutions like this. There are so many things that could be utilized inside of making your business better inside of the service department that we're just going to scratch the surface. You're just going to get a couple of sips of these solutions, but you can get so much more if you reach out to them. Then let's go this way. Them right here. These two, you can get a lot of solutions if you reach out to them. Man, we are going to go ahead and get your taste buds ready for the good stuff that they are brewing. Welcome to the show, you all. Let's figure something out real quick. Let's just real fast get a quick understanding of how long you have been doing your business right now, from the not necessarily the idea point, but from where you've actually been connecting to dealers and actually brewing solutions. And I'm asking this to Owen as we get this moving and pass that right over to Robin, because we want to show that there is some seasoned understandings and some exposure that these incredible individuals have to the solutions that are out there. So help us understand that real quick. Owen, how long have you been doing what you're doing?
Oh man, you really want me to date myself, don't you?
Come on.
All right, so 2000, I had no idea what was going on in the car business, and I ended up landing a job with an ad agency that was 100% automotive, and they had just lost some key piece of we call it today tier 2 business, I guess you could say. And so they had this infomercial where they were literally going to go out and they were going to put this in dealerships for subprime, obviously, Fred, right to your heart. But nobody was doing this. So I came on board and I traveled around the country for about 2 years, basically in the trenches at store level, learning everything from banks to inventory to process to, things that we take for granted today, like BDC, software, different things like that. That was stuff that I was learning on the fly. And so I was very fortunate, that years later I can use some of that as we continue to, build products and build solutions. And I've always called myself a disruptor. Everything that I usually have done in this space has been some sort of a disruption, whether it be geofencing, 10 years ago, the infomercials and the subprime products. And then now, with Fixed Ops Digital, we started this company 4 years ago. Nobody was doing what we were doing. And, so we just kind of said, hey, let's put this together and let's see what happens. And, going on our 4th year, we're almost to 700 dealers, like 650 plus, and we're growing every day. And the beautiful thing about what we do, and I'll just kind of pass over to Robin because she's been a great friend of mine and somebody that supported us since the beginning. We are the type of company that works hand in hand with all the other parts of the dealership's partners, right? Other business. So, whether we're talking, repair financing, which obviously we've taken, sort of the lead on that. But even to like a service BDC that's offsite or that's contracted, like Robin obviously heads up. We feel like we have to be that glue that brings it all together, because most partners want to, sort of segment each other or say, hey, you got to just use our stuff because because we're bringing that solution. We're not that company at all. And so it's allowed for us to really focus on other parts of their business and sort of integrate with what we do. And so when we thought, hey, who's going to be our first guest on Fixed Ops Friday? I couldn't have thought of a better person to bring on than Robin Wilson. Obviously a friend of mine, but also somebody that I think is doing it right and is really providing some great values for dealerships today. So with that, I'm going to pass that up to
absolutely.
To
Robin is the one. And let me tell you, before I got to just tell you all, she's built a reputation on her reputation, right? She has a great one. And this is why she's able to partner up with people like Owen and so many others, even other BDC companies. They team up with her to use her to be able to help facilitate extra that they have. And she takes it graciously and she's out there helping. And guess what? That part of the BDC is fantastic. They're rocking and rolling. They truly are epic AF. And I'm going to tell you, I'm excited to have you on here, Robin. What's going on? Tell everybody your story.
I'll try to single it down really small. So I don't have like the depth that most of you guys have in the automotive industry. I came from the mortgage industry, and when that dissolved, I found myself at 48 years old trying to figure out what my next career looked like. And automotive became it. And it was kind of happenstance. I had no desire to be in automotive, but I knew social media. And it was at a time when dealers were starting to realize that they needed social. They needed that communication piece to talk to their customers. That's where their customers were. They needed to be there. And I've loved every bit of it. I started my company in 2013, catering to small business owners who brought us out of the recession. The mortgage meltdown really crashed our economy so bad, and small business owners by the hundreds of thousands brought us out of that. And then they were trying to compete with the big box brands for marketing dollars, and they just couldn't. And social media was the answer at that time. And that's where we segued in. And then the BDC side of it kind of happened because I have a cousin that's really great at seeing trends, like what's coming next. And he's always got his finger ahead of whatever's coming next. I don't have that, but I do see gaps in the market. I see when there's an opening to step into, and then I'm not afraid to step into them. And that happened in 2019, before 2020, before the big mess. We had already entered the BDC world, just were pulled into it by our clients, and we started filling a gap, and then that gap got bigger and bigger, and we just kept growing and growing. And we went from 13 employees at the beginning of 2020 to now we're sitting at 70 plus in a building that will hold 200. And so we understand that there's times when you just have to put your foot on the gas and go forward. And partnering with other BDCs that went through that employee crunch, right? That trying to get employees was a really hard thing. And so if we had the capacity, because we had employees, my ego does not get in the way whenever hey, can you step in and help? Absolutely. Do you need us for 2 weeks? Do you need us for 2 months? How long do you need us? We're here to help. And that's just kind of how everything in my business has grown, has been through collaboration and networking and friendships that have been made. And just like you guys, I made it a point to say, who do I need to know? Who's where I want to be? Who's doing the damn thing already?
Write this down, everybody.
Yeah, and then lock arms with them and go, teach me something. And then I have to remember to reach back down and do that again to somebody else who's coming up behind me.
And this is why, and I normally do this at the end of the show, but this is why you are 100% CGC approved. And I'm going to tell you, you're powerful what you say, the words that you bring out, but the way you lead and the way that you are such a solutionary in not just automotive, but like you said, you do it for small businesses, your local businesses. That's, to me, amazing. That's where it really starts. When you can find it, it starts with for one, it starts with our families. It starts with ourselves. And then we can spread that out as we start to overflow with this information and love. We go into others, our communities. Next thing you know, you're in the automotive industry and spreading this across the nation. Worldwide, even.
Worldwide.
So just know that what you do is powerful. It's amazing. And we are so honored to have you here today. And woo! Yes. Aren't we so lucky, automotive, to have Robin jump in here and be part of this industry? Aren't we
I'm so honored? I'm so honored to be part of the conversation, honestly.
Yeah, well, we're honored to have you here.
The conversation continues going as we have more people wanting to jump in with their cup. And what I love is that you're so understanding of how important it is for somebody to be pouring into your cup, because you're going to have those that you're going to need to pour into too. And sometimes we actually don't have anything in our cup and we have to go seek something so that we have something else to pour out. I can't tell you how many solutions have made it to our doorsteps as whether business owners, parents, leaders, right? When the problem found its way to us, we said, well, I guess we got to go find a solution. If Google had the answer, Google had the answer, right? YouTube had the answer, YouTube had the answer, right? We go and we find that solution. And today we found each other on the Car Guy Coffee podcast on Fixed Ops Friday so that we can brew solutions that are available. That is the great hope for so many dealers and so many people that are operating in their stores right now, is that the solutions are available. They are there. They are waiting for you to utilize them. And today we're going to talk about how to implement some of the incredible tools that are right there. They're like right there. You can reach them. They're almost there. So car guys and car gals, help make sure that other people are participating inside of this, but that you are too. If you're watching right now live, go ahead and drop a coffee cup emoji inside of there and say cheers to our incredible guests. Now that you know who they are, which you probably already did know, because they are super cool. And if we're rolling with them, we are wanting to be able to pour out the awesome stuff that they have, right? And that's what we're here for. We're here to talk about these solutions.
I just texted my team and said, share the podcast right now.
Yeah, and we
There you
appreciate
go.
that.
Share
But
that
that's the
around.
thing. We're out here. We're sharing. This can be watched on the replay. This could be on the podcast. You are going to hear this multiple times. Just
What's up, Mark?
understand, if you could just take one thing from this conversation today and take it back to your service department, your fixed ops department, you will make a difference. I promise. So let's get going and let's talk about this. Let's talk about what's going on with follow-up these days. Let's talk about what's going on in service, right? So in service, everybody doesn't, we talk about this so much in our podcast and a lot of sales podcasts out there for automotive sales. We talk about, what are we doing? What's our numbers? What do they look like? What's our follow-up game look like? But do we hear about that a lot in service? Not so much, but it's important that we do talk about that. And Robin, you mentioned that earlier. You talked about how when customers leave upset, having that follow-up call to see what happened, maybe that can make the difference before they put a review on our websites, right? Before they go to Google and say 2 stars.
Or before they get that survey.
Right, exactly. Before they get the survey from the manufacturer. So explain that to me. What are you doing? What do you have there that's helping people get better at that at their dealerships?
So the strongest thing that they can do, if the tough part is that for service advisors are a different breed of people. Like they're not that they're not customer service oriented. They're generally they're problem solvers and they're solving a problem, and they don't tend to be very emotional people. And so if you can have anybody, even if you don't have a service BDC, if you got anybody at your dealership that is super good, they're just so personable. They're that person that you would want to talk to on the phone, that they go through every RO that came in the day before, and they're calling those people and asking them, how was your experience yesterday? Did they explain everything to you well? Did you have any questions that maybe you forgot to ask and you remembered them on the way home? Can I get those answered for you? Okay, great. Now you're going to be getting a survey in the next couple of days, be coming from Chevy, Ford, Kia, whoever. And if there's any reason, why you have any questions about what the questions are on the survey, I would be glad to answer those for you. Here's my direct line. Just call me back. Those are so important because a lot of times whenever you're at a dealership, you don't remember all the questions that you should have asked, right? Because it's transactional. Everything's transactional when you're in the service department. And then you leave and you go, oh my God, I forgot to ask him if they got that little rattle thing that was going on in the trunk fixed, or if they even looked at it and he didn't address it and I forgot to ask. And so those can be super helpful, and they make your dealership feel like they care. And even though they do care, a lot of times the public perception is that we don't, right? That we don't care. And those touches right there, I mean, even if that is a $15 an hour employee, that their job is just to call and make sure that this customer got all of their questions answered and their needs met while they were at the dealership. And if not, you're the solver for it. You're that solution for that. And it's super important. One of the things that Owen does that I love, this is why I fell in love with you, Owen, as a friend, is that in the dealership, marketing is most of those marketing dollars are thrown into sales, because that's the sexy part of the dealership, right? Selling cars, push all hundreds of thousands of dollars to that. And the service department is lucky if they get anything, if they get anything. And that Owen recognized that early on and went, look, we can make this super affordable for you, drive more in your traffic lane, drop some service ads for you, track that ROI of that, give you some more traction on your website. I mean, one of the best seminars I ever sat in of Owen's was talking about the tire page. And it never crossed my mind that the dealership's website should have a tire page, right? Because I don't know that I would necessarily, before I was in automotive, that if I needed tires, that I don't know that I would have thought of my dealership first.
Nope.
I would have.
Well, dealerships never have any sort of display, right? I mean, we always talk about it. We say, look, not only do you have to have that, it should go from the website to the dealership and kind of reciprocate, right? And so, yeah, we don't have anything on our website, but we don't have anything in our dealerships either. So and then of course you see stats about retention and about, Chrysler or Stellantis now, came out with data a couple of years ago that we were using in some of our presentations about just if the dealership sells those tires, they will then sell another car. And so it all works together, right? And I definitely agree. One question I had for you, Robin, you had mentioned BDCs and that type of thing. Let's just kind of break it back to the beginning. I mean, obviously, some dealerships today I talk to don't even have a BDC. They still have never invested in that. But some dealerships have, have a BDC for sales. But then I asked them if they have a service BDC, and they give me like weird things like, well, we're working on it, or we're thinking about it, or and my question has always been, not coming from the BDC side as much as like, why would you need a separate BDC, or what's the difference, or besides maybe volume, right? That might be the case. You just need separation because there's so much coming in. Are there other things that you do differently with the service BDC that's different from the sales? I think that would be a good thing to maybe touch on as well.
So they're generally two different types of humans that would be in the service BDC or the sales BDC, just because the conversations are so different. And depending on whether you're doing inbound, outbound, or both. Inbound, 100%, I believe probably a sales BDC could handle some of that overflow. Once again, those advisors, we know how burnt out they are this year, right? Our service techs and service advisors, everybody is just fried because the lack of employees. And so them fielding those inbound calls coming in is really almost a nuisance. So if you've ever called your service department, it's not the most pleasant call ever. These guys are distressed beyond belief. I feel so bad for them.
Talk about multitasking, right?
Right. And there's probably a line of people standing in front of them going, why did he answer the phone? I'm standing right here.
And the clock's ticking on a job. It's just ticking.
It is. And so if you can have somebody that's just dedicated to listening to the problems that the customer is experiencing, tell me what you're experiencing. They're making really good notes. They're generally, we're constantly in communication with somebody in the service department to go, this is what they're saying, and they'll be like, yeah, probably a diagnostic, need to bring it in. There's slots open in X time for that, scheduled for that. Whereas, we have a different CRM for the sales side. They don't communicate to each other. One of the things that I was looking at, I don't know if you guys saw this come out, the NADA report that just came out. In 2021, just service labor sales in 2021, customer mechanical, $23 billion.
Ooh.
Wow.
Like literally $23 billion.
Yeah.
And so think about the fact that how heavy are we right now in selling used cars versus new? Like we're upside down, right? Where it used to be like we want to sell 60% this, 40%, or however everybody's breakdown was. And now we're lucky if we're doing 75 pre-owned and 25 new. It's so lopsided right now. So with those older model of vehicles, and even if they're 2, 3, 4 years old that are coming out of warranty, those service departments are going to be even more heavy burdened. And so can they handle the inbound calls? Are they even able to get to their new customer calls on those recall campaigns that need to be dialed out? Those people need to know. One of the best BDCs that I ever learned at was Roper Kia, and they have an amazing service BDC. And one of the greatest things that they would ever do is the minute that they found out they had a recall coming, they would check with their parts guy and go, how many do we have of the thing that needs to be on this recall? Do we have enough till we can start a campaign and start calling through? So we get ahead of it before those people receive that thing in the mail to tell them there's a recall.
Yeah.
And everybody's out of the parts, right? So they would double down on it right now and go, well, we have 200 of them, but it looks like in our database, we have 450 people that are eligible for this recall. You order the parts, we'll start the campaign. When will they be in? And we'll start working those in. So those outbound recall campaigns, getting ahead of that supply chain right now, are super important too. And even if the parts aren't available, are there recalls that are on technology? Any computer upgrades that need to be made that they don't need parts for? We just need to be able to squeeze them in and get that service lane full at the same time. So the service BDC is a different mindset than the sales BDC. The sales BDC is generally overcoming any fears or concerns with buying a car, or having a down payment, or having a trade-in vehicle, or
Getting
having
approved.
Yeah, having private credit.
Yeah. Well, you got me thinking, Robin, that people, almost the dealership needs to rethink how they operate the service department. And some have, right? I mean, adding express lane. I know dealerships that have taken their internal work and moved it off site. So that way they're not bogging up their their resources at the dealership for internal work. They've moved that to an offsite location. I had a dealer tell me the other day they've gone to 3 shifts. They have a day shift, they have a night shift, and they have an overnight shift. Now that's hard to do if you have a labor shortage, right? But thinking outside the box, there's so much opportunity. We're still only getting 1 out of every $3 probably in the market, that's coming to the dealership. It's all about creating a workflow that creates an expectation for the dealer or for the customer, right? And that kind of goes back to what you're talking about with making calls and things like that. I mean, that's the end result. It's the beginning and the end, but it's what happens in the middle that I think needs to be addressed just as much as the other side. And we're hoping that continues to get better, because if it does, you won't see those bad surveys, you won't see those bad reviews, because the expectations will be met all the way through, and it'll start to work together more consistently, I guess.
One of the greatest things I ever saw, I didn't mean to interrupt you real quick, was so if you drive any level of a luxury brand vehicle and you service at a luxury dealership, the difference in service is night and day.
Oh, it's completely different.
Mm-hmm.
It's like no questions.
And how much does that experience cost? I mean, actually, how much more does it cost Land Rover for them to create a great experience for me as it does Kia, Hyundai, Chevy, Toyota?
But you know what the question is, it's not just how much does it cost, it's how much is it cost them that they're not making because they're not doing that, right? You're losing customer retention, you're losing the trust, because the service there alone, Land Rover, I know that service, and when you go there, you don't mind spending that money there because you know what you're getting. You're getting good service. They're going to take care of you. They're going to supply you with a way to get around if you need to get around while they're servicing your vehicle. They're going to make sure you have something cold or warm to drink. They make you feel good. It's almost like your own concierge. You sit down with them and they're dressed up just as nice as anybody on the floor, right? And you feel so good, and it does feel right. And that type of thing is, you will pay more for it, but the trust level is already built just the moment you walk in. You feel like, okay, this place isn't going to get me. This place is here to take care of me.
Do you know that I have my own service advisor? His name is Nathan. He's mine. Like, I don't have to walk in and just wait for somebody to greet me. I walk in and I know Nathan belongs to me. He's mine.
That's right.
Little things like that, and so, just to throw, I don't mean to cut you off, Lou. You're probably biting at the bit. So am I, right? But the staggering number, billions of dollars, my friends. Billions of dollars it's involved in this industry. So if you're thinking about that and you're not doing something about that, come on. You can reach out to people like Owen. You can reach out to people like Robin and so many other amazing solutionaries, because I'm going to tell you, there's plenty of us out there that want to help you get better at this. There's plenty of us out there that want to make sure that the future of automotive, the future of the freaking fixed ops department is in good hands. It's going to be fantastic, right? And we want to make sure it does. And there's people out there that know what they're doing. Little differences. So we're talking billions of dollars, but you just make minor differences in what you do. You do these little things, and as you do them, you'll start to get better. You don't have to do everything we're telling you today, my friends. I'm telling you, like I said at the beginning, grab one of these things, make an improvement in your service department. Grab one of these things, turn that into your parts department, make it better, right? Let's make things better by little things, and then add them all up, and eventually little things become big things. So, Lou, I'm sorry, pass it back to you.
This little muscle inside of our mouth is the dictator of what will actually be the culture around us, right? The way that we utilize our language is all inside of how we're speaking to each other. Robin touched on it, right? And explained that how much more does it cost you to talk differently to a customer, to speak to them in a way that they feel valued? That's not something that just happens. That becomes part of the culture. This is how we speak of our employees. This is how we speak of our manufacturer. This is how we speak of our product. This is how we speak of how the weather is today. This is how we speak about the things that we don't like, right? When that conversation starts to be part of what's fused inside of our culture, then we don't have such a big chasm between sales and service. It all becomes a language that is seamless and a customer feels welcome in, whether they're making a purchase on the car or in one of the many, many other areas they can make a purchase in the back of the building, right? For those that are only selling vehicles, you're in a situation where you only make money if that sales transaction happens on the sales floor of the whole product. In the back, There's many different touch points, many different places that a customer can spend their money. And inside of that, having that language of letting them know what they can do with their money is what our responsibility is. If we have a product for them, our responsibility is to let them know what their options are. And that's what our customers are hunting for. What are my options? What can I do? What can't I do? And usually the first one that lets them know how empowered they are with their decision gets their business. So inside of that, we want to make sure that we are having a culture that's not just within the conversation of the service writer and the actual client, but within our business, within our culture, that we're all treating and talking about that customer the same way in the break room as we are right there when they're in the actual drive. Right. And that's a way that we honor our people. What is it that you've seen inside of the culture of your own businesses? Because you all have had meteoric rises in your business, and that doesn't happen by accident. You cannot build the tower like that without that proper communication. How have you seen that spill over into the way that you've done business for service drives, for these dealers that are needing that culture to be infused inside of their world? I guess I'll push this over to, let's go ahead and go with Robin first on that, because I love the graffiti and my eyes just keep going to it.
Yeah, I love the background.
Well, I'll tell you what, like if any vendor that is serving a dealer, if their company culture is crap, that is going to relay over to how you deliver services to the dealer. And just the opposite way too, right? If I'm doing business with a dealer and their company culture and their customer service is garbage, my company is feeling that ickiness also, right? So I mean, we have literally fired clients for having horrible customer service and horrible culture, because there's just no way that my people need to understand how to deal with how awful you're treating these humans.
Come on. Right.
And one of the things too we were talking about earlier is that a lot of the reviews that you'll see on any dealership website or any dealership's Google My Business page, any of that, a huge majority of them are from frustrated people from the service department. And that doesn't mean that the service department is bad. It just means that 90% of the attention is pushed to sales and how that happens. And this little side thing called service, where people's cars run smoothly and safely, is neglected. I mean, going back to Nate, my guy at Land Rover, think about this customer journey. Think about the customer calls in, they get one of my people on the phone and we're walking them through. They're telling us, what they're experiencing. My battery light came on. It's off now, but it came on. Then my car wouldn't start, but it hasn't come back on again. Not a problem. When we get you in, take a look at that. You're still under warranty. That's not a problem at all. I'm going to set your appointment. I'm going to set it with Nate. And when you get here, I've got you for 1 o'clock tomorrow. When you get here at 1 o'clock tomorrow, just walk in, park on the side of the service door right there. Come on in and let them know that you have an appointment with Nate. He'll be ready for you. And then her relationship is with Nate, right? And so when Nate comes back out to her and says, the battery is a problem. We don't have one in stock right now, but it looks like it's working perfectly at this point right now. But I've got one on order for you, and it's going to be here on Wednesday. So I'm going to go ahead and schedule you for Wednesday too. Do you want my valet to come pick up your vehicle, or can you bring it in? And then whenever Nate goes to upsell that customer something that they need on their vehicle, she has a relationship with Nate. She's beginning to trust Nate. And it's easier if people know, like, and trust you, for you to sell them the things that they need, and for them not to just go, they're just messing me over.
Well, you don't have to keep explaining yourself, right? You don't have to keep starting from zero and starting to go forward. Like, here's what's happened over the last 6 months with my car or my vehicle, and now you're trying to catch somebody up. You go back to Nate. Nate knows everything that's happened on that vehicle from the time you owned it, and now there's a trust there. One thing I was going to say, and it kind of can only go by my past experiences in life, right? It's always what drives you forward. When we were setting up subprime departments, part of the conversation was, do you have anybody at the dealership that would be interested in heading up this division, right? Heading up this department. And they always picked the number one sales guy or gal, whoever it was at the dealership. They said, that person I'm going to bring over to the subprime, because they knew they could make more money over there, and it was going to take more discussions with the customers, because you were talking about very sensitive sides of the business.
Yep.
So I think about that from the service side and say, man, what if there's guys or gals in the sales department that might not be the best salespeople from a car standpoint? what would those people look like in the service department? And I'm sure as an advisor, that type of thing. So I'm sure that's happened more times than we know. And it would be great to see what some of that.
I would love to see that stat.
Yeah, because 100%, because they have the personality to talk to customers, to sell them, and to show them what's happening. All they have to do is learn. So that's kind of where we went with our company when we started this. We obviously, my partnership group all had the experience. We could tell you all day long about how much we've been working with stores and that type of thing. But as we started to grow, I looked for the people first that had the experience and that fit our personalities and that could help us. We knew we could teach the rest, right?
Yes.
As we grew fast, I mean, we've grown super fast. If I would have hired what I call rookies or people that have never done this before to try to maybe save $1, right? Because we're still running a business. Right. I think we would have had way more cancellations than any vendor wants, right? And we don't get a lot of cancellations. Our churn, what they call it, is very low. We have great dealerships partners that we work with, and they really look to my performance team as a valued partner. That every day they're talking and discussing. And I think that's what sets maybe our company apart from other ones that are out there. Other companies that are doing, service marketing. Also just in general, to be able to connect, hey, I'm looking for a service BDC partner. You know what? I've got people. I've got someone. I've got someone right here that I could recommend you to. So, those conversations don't happen all the time, but it's that type of relationship that we're looking for. And so that's when we started growing. We definitely wanted to bring people in. So it kind of goes, it helps with our business doing the same way. I think dealerships can learn from that as well.
I 100% agree with everything that was just stated there by both of you all. And, when it brings it all the way back down to, and whether it's, having a BDC or whatever, it's your people first. So people, process with the products. And when you have those things together and they all run together, those 3 Ps, right? You really, really make profits. And that's the 4th P. And that's huge. And profit is not a bad word, my friends. We all know that. We deserve it, but we should earn it. It's not given to us. It's not handed to us. But when you earn it, you get more of it. And man, do you earn a lot of it, right? And it's the best of the best know what I'm talking about. They're out there doing it. They're out there doing something extra. They're making sure the people that they have, whether it's the people that's in the dealership, in the service departments, the riders, the parts department, or if it's their BDC, their service BDC, they're making sure that those people are trained with the right language, understanding what the language of what's going on is. Because, one thing, Robin's for sure, when you talk about the difference between a service BDC and a sales BDC, similar, but the language is slightly different, right? So you have to be able to speak that language. It's like Spanish and English. If you can't speak both, it's very difficult. And even if you do speak both, it's very difficult. So you have to be able to really hone into that. The best of the best speak that language really well. The language of love, where it starts, but the language of whatever the problem is for them. The problem for a purchase and a problem for a customer getting service is different, and their emotions are different during those moments. So
I would say it's more consultative, selling on the service side, because you have to be able to explain it in a way that they comprehend it, the customer understands it, and then make them understand the value of it. And of course, it's selling still, because you're getting scorecarded by your managers on revenue and things like that. But if you do it in a way that's not like, hey, I'm just here to sell you. Which unfortunately, let's be honest, the sales side of the car business, over the years has gotten a little bit of a bad rap that it's more that style. It has to be the opposite inside the service department, or that's when you will lose that retention.
What I'll tell you is that it works extremely well in the sales department too.
Yeah, no, it's changing for sure.
It is, and I think you're right. The old school ways are no longer good. I mean, there's still people who like to wheel and deal and do all that stuff. I still see those guys who come in, right? They're like, come on, buddy, let's do it this way. You're like, no, man, we don't do it that way. It's transparent now, right? If I could, none of that stuff. So it's about that. It's about really sitting down with somebody, diagnosing their problem like you're a doctor, and making sure that we're really trying to find a solution for them. Not what makes us the most amount of money, but what truly is the product that will help them get rid of the pain that they came in for. And when we have that for them and we show the value of it, and we're there like their friend, like I have their hand on my shoulder, or have my hand on their shoulder, and I'm talking to them like I'm their buddy, and truly feel that way, not only is it more fulfilling, But man, do you sell more and you will make more profit, and they will lay down first pencil almost every time. And it's not a bad thing when they do. You got to earn it, like I said earlier. Just like the service department. Go in there and just truly be a solutionary. Listen to what their problem is. Figure out what that is. Now, if you know that there's extra issues, I think the extra sales are difficult sometimes because people come in, I want oil change. They didn't come there because all of a sudden their water heater is going bad or this is happening, but it's happening. Right. And us as the doctors, how do we build that trust? Well, Robin said it best. I believe what Land Rover is doing is they keep you with one person. So when you come in, you trust Nate. You're like, that's my dude. And if he says that there's a problem with my vehicle, I know there's a problem with my vehicle and I need to get it fixed. And he's going to give me solutions. He's going to give me probably options on how I can get it fixed in the time that I can get it fixed, because that is my dude.
Yes. Think about when you go to the doctor, right? And like you're something's wrong and you don't know what's wrong, but you trust them to tell you what's going on inside your body, inside all the mechanics that are going on inside your body, and you just trust him, right? Because he's your doctor. He's been your doctor forever. Right. It's almost the same level of fear. And I don't know if it is for guys, because guys, we all assume guys have some innate mechanical something in their brain that they just know automatically because it came with the pile of testosterone they got. And you guys know, like, I sit on the board of Women in Automotive, so I know, like, as a woman, like, you're walking in and you know they're going to come out and talk to you and it's going to be like wah, 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 wah. And they're going to tell you a bunch of stuff and you don't even know that you had that part in your car. You didn't even know that, your car might need that. I'm not even kidding you when I tell you how long I have been on this earth before I knew when it was time to rotate my tires. Not kidding you. Like, they would go, okay, we think it's time to rotate your tires. And I'm like, are you sure? Like, the timer pop out? Like, what happened to let you know that my tires needed to be rotated? And so I think that if I didn't know it, how many other people don't know when it's time, and why even doing it, that those maintenance things that'll make their car last longer. We live in such a disposable society right now with car prices where they are. Can we afford to be in a disposable society?
Slowing down, for sure.
Actually tell me why I need my tires rotated, what it's going to save me, what's going to do for me, like I'm a third grader, because I don't know, what's going on in my kidneys and my livers and my body, right? So I don't know what's going on inside my car either. So just tell me why.
Well, one thing, Robin, I'll say
service advisor, but go ahead, Owen.
No. All I was going to say was kind of to follow up to Robin's point, and I think it ties right into this, is that there's multiple ways to do that these days, right? You have to do it at the store level, but it can start way faster, way earlier than that. And that's what we do really well, is that we create that message on the website to be able to tell Robin why it's important to get her tires rotated, why it's important to get that alignment service, and do it in a way that not only educates and informs customers, provides them some recommendations, things like that, but also while we're doing it, we're telling them why the dealership is the place to come get it, right? Not the independent. And so I think it has to start in, people, you will get more lines per RO because you've educated customers. Now, whether that starts on the website, at the dealership's website, and then works its way into the service drive, or even, the turn down service, to be able to send something to a turn down customer and say, hey, I know you turned down this service today. Here's a link on our website of why this is important. Well, you're not sourcing a third party. You're not sourcing, some cookie cutter content that doesn't really tell you anything. Maybe it's just up there for some, to get SEO, value potentially. It is actually content that is going to help that customer make those decisions. And so if you carry that all the way through, I think you win all the time, right? You're going to win more than you're going to lose. And that's ultimately where
all I do is win, no matter what.
But no matter what, we want to keep the conversation going. We want to make sure that we're still communicating. If we don't have communication, then we have breakdown. And that's ultimately where we're trying to fuse all of these pieces together, because it used to not be so important to have a good conversation in the service drive. And why I was saying that I love the name service advisor and always admired that is because that's what it was. That was in essence what it is. I am advising you of what it is that's going on with this multifaceted machine, okay, that you don't know about. You don't know what you don't know. And we're going to tell you what we recommend you should be doing. And I would challenge all that are watching or listening or however that do see a dealership that has a service department, who is more likely to still be at the store, the service advisor to have a real tenure, or the sales manager, the service tech, or the sales pro? Who is a familiar face that's more like your store? Who is the one that somebody could be calculated as saying, I always see that car parked at that dealership. That guy must have been there forever. I've been here for 15 years. That car's still there. You know what? I can still go to the same Honda store, see the same service manager, and know he knows me. I know him. That familiarity is a big wall dropper, right? For everybody. If we're familiar with our surroundings, we're not so much desperate for trust or desperate to reach out for these things that can help build that trust. It's easy. It's nice. It's my guy. Just like the experience that's over at Land Rover. My guy knows me. They know me. And that conversation is what helps to keep that familiarity going. But if we don't have that, for the dealers that don't have that, you opened up the box to your dealership last year. Okay. Right. And you want to make sure that that conversation's happening. Well, it's going to be in more places than just the drive. It's usually on the phone. It's usually in a text message. It's usually in an email before that customer gets to you. And to make sure that what Owen is showing everybody is that the answers are right there for you. We wanted to make sure you all knew that the answers are there. You can reach out to them, and making sure that that conversation keeps going, because we're still talking to you about the things that matter to you. Because we seem to forget that we don't matter to the customer till they have that problem, right? They're not sending us birthday cards, right? You know what I mean? To keep us reminded of their love for us. You know what I mean? We're sending them to them. You know what I mean? To remind them that we matter, or that they matter in our world.
And
right?
you know how much you change somebody's life when you give them some knowledge, right? So
Come on, yes.
Owen, whenever you give people the knowledge of what's going on with their vehicle and the services that you provide for your dealerships, whenever you give that to them, like, they don't lose it, right? You've given them that knowledge and they own it for the rest of time. And now they're empowered to know more about their vehicle. And not only that, they will pass that on to the next person. They'll go, oh, you know what? Well, I was at so-and-so's site the other day and I learned that blah, blah, blah. Have you had that done? That's probably why your vehicle's doing that thing. And you've given this knowledge away, and then people are empowered about their vehicles and they don't feel so powerless.
That's it. And when you've empowered, you're encouraged, right? And you feel like you can do that, and you share, like you just said, you share with others. Hey, you know, Fred from ABC Motors over in the service department told me this, and guess what happens? That person's going to go see Fred at ABC Motors because he knows that person empowered that person, which makes them feel great. They're like, oh gosh, this is a good place.
Well, if they got that answer there, or that the website, let's say, or somewhere, you know, where it was in the dealership's side of things, they're going to go back there again for the next answer. And they're going to keep going back, as opposed to if there's nothing there, or if it's not very good information that they didn't learn what they were looking for. Now they're going to go find it somewhere else. And I think that's the, you know, we've done a really good job on sales, right? We've beat it to death, right? We've got every possible thing that we can think of on the sales side of a website. Yep. But the service websites, I still see it is very much an afterthought. Now, obviously, we're trying to change that, but you know, the dealership has to make the commitment to change it first, and then we can kind of take over from there. Same thing with Robin and what she's doing. I mean, the dealership has to make a decision that to have better conversations is a priority to keep that customer coming back. And once they make that decision, then they can decide how they want to attack it, whether it's with a partner or trying to do it internally, or maybe some sort of a blend. So,
and you know, I can't even imagine what the trajectory of your company is going to be, Owen, with all of this. I mean, all of this pre-owned that's going on right now, it's just got to be getting so heavy on the service department that your services are going to be so huge for people. And I always love that's the declined service tag, right? So we've told you something's wrong and we told you that we can fix it. And then you're like, no, I'm good.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
And think about it. Like, if you went to the doctor and he's like, okay, this is wrong and this is wrong, but here, this is what we'll fix. And you're like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so many times, though, that those conversations that happen in the service drive, I know what it's like to be broke. I've been there. I get it. You're making a recommendation. I'm making a decision whether we're eating tonight or I'm fixing this part on my car, right? And sometimes that talk happens inside of that service drive, and it's just a seed, right? That's just the seed that can turn into something if somebody comes back to water it. And that's what we love about the attention that is being recognized that's needed in that service drive for a BDC, because somebody's got to come water that, right? After you plant those seeds, you better figure out how you're getting water to them. Otherwise, it's null and void. It's just over, right? You didn't act. It's not like you even sowed the seed, right?
Well, and to your point, Lou, there's options now than there ever has been. You know, one of our big things that we pushed out this year was repair financing. We are partnered with some of the bigger ones out there, like Sunbit, Dignify. They're providing a really, really great service for customers, because if they're turning down service because of financial restraints, right, it still doesn't change the fact that they're leaving in that vehicle that might not be safe for their family. So let them have an option to be able to pay for this over time. And what we try to do is make sure that we get that pre-appointment discussion happening, so that way when it does happen inside the service drive, it's not a shock, right? So and so, again, just another example of how things are changing in the business and how dealerships need to react to it. And I have a lot of conversations every week with dealers that go, you know what, I've been looking at repair financing, and then they end up going to one of our providers because they like the integration that we have, which just sort of brings all of our partners together. But whether you work with us or not, the fact is that if you're not providing some sort of a solution there, you won't win. So
yeah, what a great call campaign that is. Anyways, decline service with the repair credit solution added onto it, and that's a great conversation for a service BDC to have. And call these people who in the last 30 days had declined services and go, let's discuss why you declined it. And, they're going to tell you. They're always really brave over the phone. So that's never a problem. I mean, it's no different, Owen, than what came out a couple of years ago when Care Credit rolled out, right? People needed dental work done. They needed things done, and they didn't have just the fluidity to be able to do that. Their insurance was gapping here or there. And so Care Credit came along to cover all of those things. I mean, even covers your vet bills. And so to be able to be on the forefront of this for service repair financing is so huge, because we all know, because we work in the industry, how high that can creep up there really fast.
Wow. And what I love about this conversation and what we're talking about here, it's about communication. All of it starts there. Communication, understanding language, building the right team by asking them questions when you're hiring them and making sure that you have the right people in place, because it's about the people first. We like Owen said, we could teach them how to do these things, but do they have the right mindset? Do they have the right heart to be a solutionary for these people in the service drive, for these people in the parts department, for anybody that's in any department in the dealership? Yeah. Are we looking for those types of people, or are we just looking to fill seats? I think we're trying to fill seats these days quite a bit. I understand there has been, in a lot of places, there's a shortage of employees or people who want to work. And, and we're paying more. We're paying more for really less work, it seems. But at the same time, it's our own fault. We needed to put people in there. We made this marketplace, this whole automotive, seem like a shady place to work. Whether it was in the service department or in the sales department, people didn't like coming in. We're fixing that now. We have solutionaries out there like Robin. We have solutionaries out there like Owen and Brad and so many others that are doing big things. Shout out to, another one of our favorite BDC people, one of our sponsors, Dealership Toolkit. A lot of people out there are doing big things. And there's people here. Wendy Reeves, she's on here. Sean Armour up in Canada,
Wendy got something to say here. Love it. Absolutely all about the conversations. Give the customers a voice, an outlet for their voices to be heard. Whether sales or service BDC, we are the outlet for the customer. We are the heart that pumps blood to all the departments in the dealership to better serve the customer the way he or she wants to be served. Well done, my auto peeps. Boom. And she sounds so much more beautiful than I do.
Wendy's amazing. Wendy's awesome, folks. If you don't know Wendy, tag out with her. She's somebody awesome. Sean. Eh? Yeah, you put it on there. That's right. It's cold up there, eh? And we got that going. We have some amazing Frederick Thorne. Hey, what's up, Fred?
What's up, man, everybody? Dude.
Right. So you got Stan Scher up here. He loves BDC also. Martha's killing it, and we got Jess Burkhardt up on here. What's up, Jess?
That's right.
Right. She's epic AF. Right. So we have a lot of other solutionaries that are typing in things in different places that we haven't been able to see during our show. But what I could tell you is we love you all for being here. This is huge, folks. Just understand. Communication. And if you don't have the staff for communication, there's people that have staff, like Robin. Reach out, holler at her. She can teach you. She can at least point the way. She'll even give you free advice if you ask. If it's just a quick, simple thing, she'll give you a quick, simple.
Even if it's long, it doesn't matter.
And what I do love too is even if it hurts. Yep. That's the thing, car guys, car gals. We got to take the answers whether we like them or we don't, right? If we want truth, then let us take truth and let us apply it. And so many times we have kept in a veil these things that we actually can use to make our dealerships better. We need to stop that. No veil. Let's brew.
Quit hiding it. Share ideas, folks. This industry needs all of us to be better. So let's share what we're doing that's good. Best practices. Go out there, talk about it. Let people know. Fact of the matter is, and Robin knows this, Owen knows this, and anybody who's out there been doing this long enough, is we can tell everybody the best secret sauce of it all. It doesn't mean they're going to freaking use it. They know it, but they ain't going to use it. That's the thing. That's why I believe that it's okay to tell everybody everything. You know, it's that old saying, you can lead a horse to water. It doesn't mean they're going to drink, right? So just my point there. So share, because the more you give, the more that you put out there, the more seeds that you're planting, my friends, the more phone calls you make, BDC members out there, for the more people that you talk and you help and you actually show them, hey, this is what's wrong with your vehicle, and you're doing it out of a place of love, they're going to end up coming back and doing that service with you. But you have to do it every time. You have to be consistent, communicate, and love your people, my friends. It all starts with people. Let's communicate. I love it. This was a great show today. Man, and Owen.
I told y'all we're just scratching the surface.
We're just scratching the surface. So, Owen, any closing words for us?
All I got to say is that Robin being our first guest on Fixed Ops Friday has set the bar really high. So whoever we have for going forward, come with it, because you're going to have a lot to live up to here.
Yeah, that's a whole lot to follow up.
Thank you, Robin.
Pressure, y'all. No pressure. Please come on the show.
Very welcome. Very welcome. And if anybody is coming to Digital Dealer, catch up with the Women in Automotive cocktail party at American Social on Monday night.
Okay. WIA, my friends. Shout out to the Women in Automotive. Hello. A lot of big things going on over there. If you guys haven't heard, there's some new ownership, some new things, and some new ideas getting spread around. Perspective matters, and they have some diverse perspective in there, and I love it. It's different, it's new, it's fresh. I can't wait to be there Monday night, my friends. Digital Dealer, be there, be square.
Be there.
And I know our next episode is May 6th, and that's going to be a pre-Digital Dealer episode. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll announce a guest soon. And
that's
what
awesome.
do you all think of Miss Wendy Reeves' suggestion? We need a part 2.
We might need one.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Robin, we'll set that up, and we'll announce that as soon as possible. Wendy, you're right on the money. There is more to this that we need to talk about. We just scratched the surface, and man, what an honor it was to scratch the surface with these two solutionaries that we have up here. Owen, you rock. Robin, you got any final words before we get out of here too?
I don't. I'm just so happy to be part of the automotive community and to truly feel like I have solid friends that I call on all the time for help and advice. People like Wendy, people like Liz and Rich at Dealership Toolkit.
Right.
Whenever I need it. I don't believe in competition. I believe there's enough business for everybody. There's enough people that are doing it horrible that if you're doing it halfway better than them, you've got so much business to get in there.
Amen.
That's 100% right. And you're right on that, on the money, Robin. That's no doubt about it. We love you all out there. For real, folks, if you guys don't know, now you know. We are here. We are epic, and we are ready to rock and roll. It is Fixed Ops Digital, Fixed Ops Friday show.
Right.
What's going on? Right. Brad, hope you had fun at the charity event. We missed you. Can't wait to see you on the 6th. We're going to have some fun. Be ready for the pre Digital Dealer show. We're going to get it down. We're going to have some fun and have a good time. So be ready for that one. We're going to talk about what's happening at the show, what we're going to be doing while we're there. Lou and I are going in as press this time. What? Press passes. So watch out for that.
Get ready for the interviews, folks. Y'all better stop us. Pull us through if you want an interview.
I'm going to get backstage. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys.
So let's go ahead and make sure that we do apply those 3 F-bombs that we love to use to make sure that we do keep growing together. And that is to forgive, focus, and fly. We are so thankful that you all did participate with us today. Thank you for those that watched it live. For those that are listening on the podcast, thank you so much. Share it around with a friend or an enemy. We don't care. We just want to make sure that people get better. So on 3, let's forgive, focus, and fly. 1, 2, 3. Forgive, focus,
fly, and keep growing. Keep growing. Wow, what a great show today. I'm so honored. Folks, love you guys. Be safe, be real, and don't forget, Fixed Ops Friday on the 6th pre-show. Let's go. All right, y'all.
I am Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And I'm Franklin Arts, the subprime hero.
And you have been brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast on Fixed Ops Friday with the one and only Owen Moon, with our incredible special guest, and coming back for part 2, the one, the only Robin Wilson.
That's
Have
right.
a good one, everybody. We love you all.
Peace. This show was brought to you by Fixed Ops Digital. Digital. Peace.